doing? It's your boy BrogiNaric, back again with another episode of BrogiNaric on Films. We're going to be doing this review. It's going to be some spoilers eventually. So we'll get to the spoilers in the time description, but we're going to be talking about Marvel's Eternals, which recently came out. It's the hot new thing out there for the MCU, and people are upset, people are in love, people are all over about this film. And we're going to be talking about it, giving our thoughts about it. Got my man, Crispy Man, with me. Crispy Man, tell the people where the people can find you.
You can find me same places that you can find everybody, I suppose. At my house.
Right.
At my place of work.
Grocery store.
Grocery store, more often than not. Also, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. At the name Crispy Man, CWISPY_MANN.
There you go.
I haven't had to plug myself in forever. It's been a while. So.
All right, so we're going to be talking about Eternals, the recent MCU smash hit. Yes, right, I'll pen the spin on that. I don't give a fuck. Now, this movie was my least anticipated MCU movie of all time. When it was announced, I was like, why? Why are we wasting our time on the Eternals? Who gives a fuck about the Eternals? Even comic book fans don't give a fuck about the Eternals. Why are we making this movie? Kevin Feige, what are you doing? Everybody on the internet, this is going to be the downfall of the MCU, which I don't think it was going to be the downfall, but I definitely thought this was going to be probably one of his worst movies going into it. They got Chloe Zhao directing it. She just won an Oscar. This is my first Chloe Zhao movie, but they allowed her to... Certain directors get a little more free reign when it comes to the MCU,
especially if you're an Oscar winner.
Usually, yeah. Usually, if you're an Oscar winner, they'll probably give you a little more leeway. But the MCU has a formula, and it works. We know the tropes; it can be kind of tiring, but it works. I would say Black Widow was the most recent film where the formula was more of a detriment than a plus. And I would say Shang-Chi. I don't know. Did you see Shang-Chi?
Not yet. Unfortunately, I missed it when it was in theaters, so I'm waiting until the 12th.
Okay, so
when it drops.
Right, when it drops on Disney Plus. Shang-Chi, I think, used the formula more to its advantage, but also plussed it. This movie definitely strays away from the formula the most. And I think it's for the better, although I think it could have used some of that formula a little bit more. But for the most part, I thought it was good. So basically, I'm here to do this thing called Eat Crow, because I was shit-talking the fuck out of this movie. But after seeing it in theaters, I really enjoyed it. I had a blast watching this. Give your thoughts. I've talked enough. Give some of your initial thoughts. Non-spoilery thoughts.
Yeah, non-spoilery thoughts. It was okay.
It was okay. Okay, you're more on that. Yeah, you're on that.
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah. I don't know anything about the characters.
Me neither.
I've never read an Eternals comic book, not the original run, not the most recent run.
Yeah.
So I don't really know the characters. I know of them.
Mm-hmm.
I know the connection they have to Thanos in the comics.
Exactly. That's about my main connection.
Yeah, that's about where I stand with the characters. So I didn't go in expecting anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in, no one expected anything from Guardians.
True.
When it came out.
That's true.
That was fantastic.
That's a fantastic film. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I at least had some hope. There's like, well, Marvel doesn't really put out stinkers for the most part. So
for the most part, yeah.
For the most part. So I'm not disappointed. I didn't love it.
Mm-hmm.
Not without spoiling anything, there are certain things that happen in the movie that I think are a little predictable.
Certain things, yeah. That was one thing I was expecting, and then it kind of switched, and I was like, "Oh, I like that a lot more," because it makes me like that character more.
Right. But there are story beats that are predictable, but they're still not Marvel predictable. I suppose.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I liked it. I don't know if I would go out and see it in theaters again, but I would certainly watch it again once it drops, or I'll add it to my collection like I do all of them.
Yeah, I'm lacking on my collection, but I think I'm gonna get off my ass and get this one as soon as it drops. like I said, the fact that I have no connection to these characters, I think made me like the movie more because I had no preset thoughts or any preset expectations. So whatever they gave me, if it was good, I was going to like it. And the thing that, excuse me, the thing that really surprised me. Okay, so think about me. I love superhero teams. If you give me some people in some costumes with some powers doing shit and it's cool, that's a big plus for me. And the thing about the Eternals is they're not really superheroes. They're just superpowered beings that's just kind of hanging out. That's essentially all they are. Maybe one or two of them has worked on superhero teams like Cersei and maybe another one. But in this, they're portrayed as like the MCU's first heroes. They've been around for centuries fighting these aliens called deviants, and they're like subtly influencing humanity. They're gods throughout the mythology, and then in modern times they separated, and then they come back to reform their team and save the day. And for me, they're a bunch of this superhero archetypes. And you know what was the main thing that popped in my head as the movie kept going that made me really love this movie? This might be controversial. This is the best live action Justice League movie we have ever had. I'm saying it. This is the best live action Justice League. We've had, technically 3. We had Whedon, Snyder Cut, and this. This is my favorite. This is my favorite. Because they're basically, if you look at them as just superhero archetypes, most of them are the Justice League. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. Superman.
You got Icarus as Superman. Cersei is Zatanna. Friggin' Athena's Wonder Woman. You got what's her name? Makari is the Flash. You got you could say I kind of say Kango is sort of like a Green Lantern. He shoots lasers. You got Gilgamesh. I say he's like Shazam. He's just strong. And you got Druid, who's Martian Manhunter. You can read minds and shit like that, control people. And then you got Phantos, who's Cyborg. It's the Justice League.
Who's Sprite?
I don't fucking know. Sprite's a little. Not all of it works, but some of it works. So that's a hell of a. That's 8 right there. You know what I'm saying? So as it kept going on, I was like, yo, this is like the Justice League, or at least this is just like a fun superhero team doing cool shit, and they got neat costumes. The costumes look a lot better on screen than they did in the promotional photos and all of that. They look way better. But yeah, I had a fun time. The cast was cool. A lot of people were saying it was slow. Now the pacing, we can get into some of the problems. The pacing is definitely one of the problems, I would say. I think slow burn. It's a slow burn, and I think if it relied a little more on the Marvel formula, it could have helped it speed up its pacing a little bit better. What was that? Where else was I about to go with that? I was about to go somewhere with that. I wasn't about to go directly into the problems, but the cast, I would say the cast is cool. I like the ensemble cast. I like the diversity of the cast. If you got a problem with that, that's on you. I like some of these actors I'm not familiar with, like Richard Madden. I don't watch Game of Thrones. He played Icarus. He was my least favorite character until a certain point in the movie where he actually got interesting, and I was like, oh, okay, I can fuck with this. But let's get some of the negatives. You go with your negatives first. I'll let you go first.
Pacing is definitely a big one. I probably get crucified for this. I'm not an actor, so who am I to complain? But some of the acting is a little dodgy.
I think I know what you're talking about.
A lot of the acting.
Are you talking about Cersei?
No.
Oh, not Cersei. Okay.
No. Not really anyone in particular.
Okay.
And obviously, I know that a good chunk of these actors, because it is a very diverse cast, some of them are not native English speakers to begin with.
No.
Or some of them are either hearing impaired or don't speak properly, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I think some of the line readings are still just a little weird.
Okay.
Compared to someone like Angelina Jolie, who's I think fantastic.
Oh yeah, she was killing it. She was awesome in this. Thena was lit. I loved it.
I think putting any of them next to her, and she's acting her ass out, and then someone's like, "No, you will be okay." Like, all right. Good take.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Right. I'm not saying anyone was bad.
Right. I get what you're saying. The caliber kind of.
I'm not an actor at all.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. That about it?
Yeah. I mean, I have other gripes, but they would be spoilers.
Spoilers. Okay, that's fine. So quick non-spoilery cons. I would say one of the things, the natural lighting and the cinematography was beautiful, but when they got to certain scenes where it was low lights, it was kind of hard to see what was on screen. And I was like, you probably should have actually had some lights on set for that, so it would look better. But that would have been a negative. I think certain characters could have got a little more development, particularly Selma Hayek, Ajak, and Makari and Druid, all that stuff with them. I would have liked to see a little more with that. The world building and the mythology is a bit much, but it's a comic book and it's also based on Jack Kirby, so it's going to be fucking weird and kind of heady. So you just kind of got to deal with that, you know. I would say now the main villain is he's very a standard Phase 1 MCU villain. He's just a hero but evil. But I will say his motivation makes perfect sense. Everyone's motivation makes sense in this. That's another thing that I love about this. All the characters' motivations made perfect sense. And it was explained plainly. You know what I'm saying? And let me think. What was another thing? Yeah, those were my main negatives. But positives, the cast, I love the action. There's a lot more action in this than I was led to believe. A lot of the early reviews. Well, we can get into that now. So, well, first of all, let's grade. If you had to grade it, what would you grade it?
A B plus.
B plus. Okay, yeah, that's where I'm at too. I would go. Yeah.
I was gonna say I wasn't in love with it, but they got most of the stuff right on the test. So
yeah. I'm leaning towards B plus as well, but I wanted to say 8.5 out of 10, but I'm actually going to go 9 out of 10. And I kind of liked it just a little bit more. But that's grade wise. But let's talk about the controversy now. When the reviews from the professional critics, I'm just an asshole on the internet. I'm not professional or anything. But the professional critics, motherfuckers who write articles and shit, a lot of them were very negative about this movie. Like it started out kind of high and then it just kept dropping and everyone's losing their minds. And especially MCU fans, because they don't know how to act, because their Rotten Tomato scores, the lowest is usually, the range is usually from 99,
100.
Yeah, from 100 to 80. No, 80, 89. It's in that range, and then you got your few outliers. So for them to have a Rotten Tomato score that's, I guess now is around the 40, 49, 47 or some shit, they was losing their minds, which was funny seeing some of the DCU fans who was like, look, this ain't nothing. Look at this shit we got over here.
That's a good score.
That's a great score. So, and then it was even funnier when the audience scores came out, and the audience scores were much higher. Still lower, still lower than your usual MCU movie, but still a solid Rotten Tomato score. I say this to say I don't give a fuck about Rotten Tomatoes or their scores. If you like the movie, you like it. But I just thought it was funny how this controversy was going on, and people used it to their advantages. Well, see, this is what happens when you go woke, or this is what happens when you focus on this, or blah, blah, all that bullshit. So, that to be said, I enjoyed this movie, but now we're going to go into spoilers. I'll let you take it.
Fucking villain sucked.
Which one?
Crow.
Which one was that? Was that the Deviant?
Crow, the Deviant.
Okay.
He sucked.
He sucked?
He sucked.
Okay.
He served no purpose. I understand 100. Again, spoilers. He's a fake out. I get that.
Yes.
He's a fake out villain. But he didn't do anything.
He killed Salma Hayek.
Kinda.
I mean, he gave her the final blow. I'll say that much. He gave her the final blow.
Yeah, I was like, he was let to kill her.
Yeah.
So he killed 2 people. Killed her.
Gilgamesh. Yeah. I felt like he killed someone else, but no, you're right. It was just those 2.
He killed Ajak and Gilgamesh. He was going to get Thena, and then Thena killed him.
Thena sliced him the fuck up.
Well, the thing is, after he killed Gilgamesh and he disappeared out of the Amazon, this is what, 2 hours into the movie, right?
No, that's
Something
at
like
least an hour, maybe hour 15 in the movie, I would say. It's about the halfway point, I guess.
Yeah, about the halfway point. Then he doesn't show back up until the last 20 minutes of the film, and then he shows up. He's on screen for about 6 minutes of that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's actually being generous. Not even 6 minutes.
That's a good point. I get that.
Walks up out of the water.
He gets into the fight a little bit, and then he's in the cave with Thena. Yeah, you're right.
And then Thena does him in, and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
Like, I get that he's a fake out. I mean, that's sort of that Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's the hero, but evil. But the reason I liked it more, because at least, and this is where we could have got a little more development, but his motivation made perfect sense.
Oh, yeah. I don't have any problem with his motivation.
Where he's like, wait a second, you fucking the turtles been like you've been performing genocide on my people, and now I'm getting a chance to survive. You know, we're trying to survive,
right?
Because and all of that, and I kind of like the reveal that the Celestials are just fuck ups and they don't really care. It's like we created one being to take out predators, but then they evolved. Oh no! Oops. So we created another group to take them out.
Well, I like the part where Asherah?
The judge, the big red, big red guy, big red,
which, skipping ahead to the end of the movie, gave off big Galactus vibes.
Oh yeah. At this point, it's Galactus like, do you need Galactus at this point? Let's make that guy Galactus at this point, right?
Well, if anything, in the MCU, I was saying in the MCU, you could just make him Galactus.
Yeah, or you can just make Galactus a Celestial. I think that's going to simplify it, and he's just another Celestial. Yeah, and that's the reason why, But anyway,
yeah, I love when he's like, we made them, and then I lost control of them.
Right, and then we lost control.
I made you guys.
Yeah, I made you guys, and I like that whole reveal that they're kind of like robots. That was kind of cool. Yeah, they're kind of like weird androids, and they like get reprogrammed after every planet is destroyed.
Which is a nice way of being like, if they die, don't worry, they'll be back.
Yeah, because in the comics they're essentially immortal. And in this one, they definitely, we got to warehouse these fuckers, so all we got to do is download their memories, and they're good. They're just like Vision, basically. And if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, alright? Yeah, let's get back into it.
Well, we've skipped over the biggest reveal in the movie. We've danced around it a bit, that there are two villains.
Yes. So let's get into it. So this is where we get into the Snyder of it all. So Twitter was the Snyder cult. They was hooting and hollering and doing what they do because Chloe Zhao in an interview had mentioned that one of her inspirations for this film was Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, specifically with the Icarus character, because Icarus is essentially a Superman archetype. Basically, he kind of same abilities, the same vibe. And when she said that, watching the movie, this, at least for the first half or so, Richard Madden as Icarus is very much like Zack Snyder's Superman. He's handsome, British, and boring. But he's got cool, flashy powers, so I guess I should like him.
He's stoic.
Whatever. Stoic, whatever. And Richard Madden is just looking with them big eyes, staring at Jim McShan, thirsting because he wants to get back with his old girl, but she's dating what's his name, Dane Whitman, aka Black Knight, who I thought was going to be in the movie a little bit more than he was, but I was fine with that.
Yeah,
I was fine with that.
I kind of thought he would be back maybe towards the end.
Yeah.
The end fight, not the end, which I guess it did.
Yeah. But yeah,
so that would actually.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh no, because I was getting ready to give away the thing you were just getting ready to say.
Oh well, so anyway, so Icarus was boring, but he had cool powers, and very much like Man of Steel, Superman, he did a lot of property damage, but he didn't really hurt anyone. He was mainly focused on fighting the deviants, and he wasn't afraid to kill. But they're deviants, you can kind of let it go. So anyway, as the movie goes on, the team is like, okay, our leader Ajax is dead. We're getting back together. They're all looking towards Icarus as the leader because he's the most powerful of the group. But Ajax chose Cersei to be the leader. And so it's revealed once Cersei learns what the Eternals' real deal is. They were created to take out the deviants because the deviants got out of control, but also the reason they're on Earth but they can't necessarily interact fully with the humans is they want the humans to populate more, and over time, once they populate, the energy of the life forms on the planet can be absorbed by the Eternal, because there's like a little seed, I forget what they called it, but it's like on each planet there's like a little embedded seed within that planet, and that's an Eternal. That's a
celestial seed or whatever.
Yeah, celestial seed. And over the time, the more people and life on the planet that grows and populates, creates more life, that energy is then absorbed into the celestial, and that creates a new celestial. They destroy the planet, and a new celestial absorbs that energy and then reuses that energy to create more planets. It's the circle of life within the MCU. And Cersei discovers that they're basically the Eternals are pawns, and that's their programming. And they're like, well, fuck, we actually like Earth, we want to save it. But we find out that Icarus is very dedicated to his programming, and he's like, no, our mission is to make sure that this celestial is born, and goddamn it, that's what we're gonna fucking do. And I don't care who I have to kill in order to do that. And when that was revealed, I was like, oh, here's interesting development here. He's a religious zealot. This is his doctrine. He's going to follow it.
He was boring for a reason.
He was boring for a reason, but his motivation made sense. And the person, he turns good because he actually loves the person that was convincing him, i.e. Cersei. Unlike Man of Steel, where Superman's relationship with Lois wasn't really that developed, but of course he turns evil because she's now dead. Whatever. I just think Chloe Zhao, she definitely took from Snyder. That is true. But she did it better, in my opinion. I felt she did it a lot better. Because she's, I guess, she's better with story. I don't know. But I felt she did it a little bit better with those elements.
I enjoyed the Icarus character, just as a Superman archetype. Mm-hmm. But I found it very predictable.
Yeah, you see, now I was kind of looking more towards the old okie doke with Druid, with the old weirdo dressed up like a Sith Lord. I'm like, are we going down that path? Right. But then they went with the Icarus.
That's too simple.
That's too simple, yeah. Well, but I was like,
Well, I've complained about it before. I know you've heard me complain about it before, but Evil Superman is just the hottest news story for every comic book related anything ever right now.
Yeah, it's just still going.
And they can't have a Superman archetype in Marvel because it's going to be compared to Superman. They do it multiple times in this movie. They call him Superman.
That was another. Thanks for reminding me. That was my biggest negative about this fucking movie.
All the DC references.
All the DC references. God damn it! I did not like
so many of them.
I did not. You want
me to start calling you Clark now?
The one DC reference that they had that I thought was funny, we didn't even get to this character yet, was when Gilgamesh calls Kingo's assistant Alfred. He's like, oh, is this guy like your Alfred? That was fine. I was fine with that. But then when we get to the moment where they meet Fastos and his son, and yeah, whatever, I can fuck up his name, and he's like, hey, Dad, that's Superman. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah.
Cape and the lasers.
He with the cape and the lasers. He was fighting on TV in London. And he's like, I don't wear a cape, son. I'm like,
don't wear a cape.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, whatever. Was that Scottish accents?
He is Scottish.
He's Scottish? Yeah. Okay, yeah. He had an accent. Yeah. He's like, I don't wear a cape. And I'm like,
don't wear a cape.
And then there was like a bit later on where he's like, what, should I start calling you Clark? And I'm like, please stop. Just stop. I don't need this. This shit is not necessary. That shit annoyed the fuck out of me. I didn't need any of that. I swear to God, my blood started boiling when they kept doing that. I was like, okay, y'all need to stop. Y'all need to fucking stop.
We get it.
He's Superman. He's super. We got it as soon as the motherfucker flew and shot lasers out of his ass.
Yeah,
he's Superman. We got it. I didn't need all of that other extra shit. That shit was annoying.
But that's why I knew that, obviously he's going to be evil because, again, that is, a bit of a trite story element that's being used a lot right now is like, what if Superman were evil? Or what if Superman turned evil? And like Marvel can't have a Superman analog because he would always be compared to Superman.
Well, they got Sentry, and Hyperion,
but they're not in the MCU.
They're not in the MCU. True.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
like the MCU could not have a Superman because of that. Now, granted,
Captain Marvel's there to kick him in the nuts.
Sure. No one's comparing her to Superman.
And the MCU is.
Are they?
Yeah. Did you not see Endgame?
I mean, from what
that was some Superman shit.
Well, so the most recent thing I heard, Kevin Feige said, is that she's basically the new Iron Man. As far as like person who's leading the MCU from this point forward.
They might be in the MCU now. Anyway, so who are we talking about? So let's get some more positive shit. Who was your favorite of the team, if you had a favorite?
I like Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah.
In general, I like Kumail Nanjiani, and I liked him up until a point, and then he kind of just walked away.
Yeah. Okay, so Kingo was my favorite, and then he just was like, "Hey, I'm just not gonna fight. Deuces.
I'm out of here."
And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
I shoot lasers out of my fingers. Like that might be pretty helpful, actually.
Yeah, that actually might be helpful, motherfucker. What are you talking about?
So I liked him up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
In any sequel that we get or whenever he returns, because I guarantee they'll return in some capacity.
Oh yeah.
I'll be excited to see him again because I like him a lot. He got into a fantastic physical shape for this film.
That was another odd thing. He got in such physical shape, and they didn't even give him "Let me show you my abs" scene.
Right?
Even Paul Rudd got a "Let me show you my abs" scene in the first Ant-Man. And he didn't even get a chance. Yeah, it was Ant-Man.
I don't think anybody got no. I was like, I don't think anybody got an ab scene in this movie. I mean, Richard Madden was naked at one point.
Yeah, he was naked. I guess that kind of anyway. But yeah, I thought that was weird. He did all that working out, and he didn't even get a "Let me show you my abs" scene. Chris Pratt got one. Even fucking Robert Downey Jr. had one. You know, Hemsworth had it. Fucking
in 3.
I think Iron Man 3. Yeah, Iron Man 3. But yeah, so Chris Pratt had his, Hemsworth had his, multiple ones with Hemsworth. Hell, even Chadwick Boseman had one. Fucking, did Anthony Mackie have one in the show? Maybe, I don't
think so.
I don't think so, but anyway, I just thought that was weird. But another thing that I remember that was disappointing, not a bit of a negative, but disappointing, the Bollywood scene. Where they go to Bollywood, because okay, so Kingo, Kumail Johnny's character, I'm not familiar with this guy, so I know of him, but I've never really seen much of him. But he was fun. I loved him a lot. He was the humor. When the movie was starting to drag, he came in with the humor. And some people may not like the humor. I thought he was good. You haven't seen Shang-Chi, but fucking Ben Kingsley is in it, and he is fucking annoying as shit. No, Awkwafina was fine. Ben Kingsley was annoying as shit, and his comedy was god awful. One of the negatives of that movie, but Kingo in this, I thought he was
he's
good.
not a comedian though.
His character is. You got to watch the movie.
Sure, no,
you got to watch the movie. Trust me, you got to see the movie.
He's probably supposed to be annoying then.
You got to see the movie. Anyway,
I will in 5 days.
Yeah, Kingo, him being like this cocky Bollywood actor who's been like in Bollywood like a dynasty because he doesn't age, so he's like, that's my great-great-grandfather, that's my grandfather, that's me, and then that's my son, and then that's my father, and then that's me. Like that shit was great. Him and his assistant, what was his name?
I don't recall the assistant's name.
Hold on, I got the
He was the MVP of the movie.
He could have been. Some people he was the MVP. He was fucking great. Karun. Anyway, he was awesome. He was like his assistant, and he was like, so as they're going on their adventure, he's making like a documentary, and he's there with the camera a little bit where he's always got different cameras. That was fun. I like that shit. He was fun. He's like the human attachment.
He was like Milton.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah. So
who's Milton?
yeah, you're right. Yeah, from Suicide Squad. Yeah, he kind of was, but he actually did a little bit more than Milton. He didn't get
a lot more.
Yeah, he did a lot more than Milton. But yeah, you're right. He was the Milton. But that shit was good. I liked this shit with him and Kingo. Now Makari and Druid were other characters that I liked. Makari was dope. She was another MVP. Like we talked, she was clutch as fuck. Makari is the chick who's like super fast, and she's also hearing impaired. So she uses sign language. She's actually hearing impaired. But she was dope. She was dope as shit. And her not weird, but like the little relationship hints with her and Druid, I needed more of that and less of Cersei and Icarus, because they were far more interesting, whatever the fuck was going on with them.
Right.
But I thought it was weird that like they've been around for thousands of years and they didn't bother to message each other in that time. Right. For them to immediately see each other and just be immediately flirting like that. I was like, y'all didn't think to hook up in the past 3,000 years? Like, what's going on? But anyway, I like the bit with Druid, he snaps and they were like in South America, I think. And like the conquistadors was killing the Aztecs or some shit.
Tenochtitlan.
Yeah, that's what it was. However you pronounce it, yeah. And he wanted to stop it, and Ajax was like, no, you can't get involved. And that's basically where they break up, because she's, imagine this, Angelina Jolie plays an attractive, crazy person. I know it was a stretch for her, I know. But she starts losing her fucking mind, because she's got it's some sickness that the Eternals can get where their memories start going crazy and they start attacking other Eternals. So
because they start to remember previous lives.
Right, that's what it's revealed to be. That's what was messing with her program, and she didn't quite know how to react. But she was also calling out things from the future as well, things that hadn't happened yet, but things that had happened. So, anyway, they were gonna reboot her, but Gilgamesh comes in. He's like, no, you know what? I'll hang with her and just keep an eye on her. So if she does go crazy, I can kind of deal with it. And he was cool. Ma Dong-seok, I think is how you say his name. He's a South Korean actor. He was cool. I liked him a lot. He was fun. When they run into him in the desert and he loves to cook and all of that. That moment when they tell him that Ajax is dead and he drops the pie and like crushes the fucking cast. Yeah, man, that shit was good. Okay, so that's another thing. This is the first movie I've seen with a big crowd since COVID has happened, which at first was annoying, but it also helped me gauge what was working with most of the audience. And I gotta say, the humor was working the majority of the time, especially when it was Kingo on screen. It was working for me, and it was working for a lot of people in the audience. And a lot of the emotional stuff was working for the audience. Like, the people were legitimately reacting to it. So, it's not a bad movie. Like, people trying to frame this like this is the worst movie ever, you need to watch more movies or get better taste. I'm sorry. That's all I have to say. But,
I got lucky. I got to see it in a matinee. And there was only about 20 people in there.
Okay, yeah,
it was very quiet.
Yeah, I went to Bowtie. I didn't want to, but I wasn't gonna wait till 9 o'clock to go down to.
I went to Regal. I went to Regal 14. That's the short bump one. That one's always packed, but not during church hours.
Yeah, but there you go. Yeah, but it was cool to kind of be back. It was annoying at first, but once the crowd kind of got it, and once most of the annoying people left, I don't know why people go to movies and then just walk out in the middle of it. I don't get it. Anyway. It was a fun experience. So, they get together. So we got Sprite, who was played by Leah McHugh or McHugh. Not familiar with her, but she was fun. She grew on me. She was also a fucking mess at the same time, because she's the one that's like forced to look like a little kid, and she's kind of like, I've been a kid for 1,000 years. This shit is getting old.
I love in the movie that, of course, they're like, we can make you human so that you can age, but because the actress is not going to look like that for the next movie. That's in 8 years.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Yeah, you're right. That's a very good point. So
we want you to come back.
Right, we do want you to come back.
Cannot look like that.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to have powers either, right? Well, they'll figure something out. But anyway, they'll work it in there where she goes and trains under Doctor Strange, and she has a different form of her magic. Okay, that's a good point. Yeah. Her abilities was basically she can like camouflage and shapeshift. That's basically illusions. Yeah, illusions basically. So, and I like the bit where Kingo was kind of like, I always thought of you, and it was like a love triangle between her, Icarus, and Cersei, where she's like, Icarus is Peter Pan, Cersei is Wendy, and you're Tinkerbell. And Tinkerbell is always wants to be with Peter, but can't be with Peter. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. So at the moment where Icarus, does his turn, and she's just like all in. She's like, fuck it, I'm with you, Icarus, I'm all in. And I thought that was kind of like, God damn it, you are such a mess. But I kind of, there was some motivation behind it. Another character that was cool was, okay, I keep fucking his name up. Fastos.
Yeah, I liked him a lot.
He was fun. Brian Tyree Henry, I really like him. Now, I'm going to get into this, so this is controversy because he's playing the gay character, which wasn't that bad. Some people was complaining that... No, he's not. He's not a gay actor.
Okay, I didn't know.
No,
so.
Well, as far as I know, he's not a gay actor. Maybe he is. I don't know. As far as I know, he's not. But
it's a little bit of controversy there then.
There's a little bit of controversy
in
general, because he's in a relationship. He's got a son and a husband, but it wasn't that bad. It is there. I do find it a bit annoying where it's always the black guy who has to be the gay character, but the way it was handled in this wasn't god awful. And the way I liked that they didn't make him, even though he was the gay character, there was no moments where he's like super, like he's a scaredy cat or anything. Because the moment when they get to the fight, he was bringing the heat.
Yeah,
he was bringing in some
Icarus
heat to Icarus. He had them fucking cannons, and I was like, oh, that's just like Kingo. But then it started transforming into other shit, and then he had like the trap, and he like held him down, and all of that. Like that shit was dope. Huh?
And it took Icarus's powers.
Yeah, it was like reusing Icarus's powers against him. Like that shit was cool. Like subtle. Like if you're paying attention, you see it. That shit was cool. The fact that he was a good father and he was trying to teach his son, like, especially at the end where he's like, hey, don't talk to her, don't talk to that guy, like, these people are crazy, don't ever do it. Like, that shit was fun. Yeah, these guys suck. Like, all that shit was great. I liked it. It worked for me. And another thing I did, supposed to both of us being bigger guys, it was cool that they had this team of two heavy guys on the team kicking ass. I kind of like that too. Him and Gilgamesh. So that was cool too. If we can get Lizzo fat ass doing shit, we can get other fat guys doing shit too. So anyway, what's another thing to talk about? Who else we didn't talk about? We talked a little bit about Thena, right? Yeah, Thena was dope. Angelina Jolie was dope. I wish we could have gotten more with Ajak, because Ajak was very underwritten, and I love Salma Hayek. I wish we could have got a little more with her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They really didn't use her much at all. I mean, she's in a couple of the flashbacks, obviously.
Yeah, and she's kind of like the den mother. She's the leader, but she's also kind of like the motherly figure. She's got healing powers.
What I didn't expect, and I don't know why this made me think of it, at the beginning of the movie when they get to Earth, I didn't expect that they just didn't know each other when they got there.
When they get rebooted, remember? They got rebooted,
but
so they don't know each other.
I know. They explained that later, but at the beginning of the movie, I was like, oh, they don't know each other? That's weird.
Yeah, you're right, though. Yeah, that's right. Because they come out of the stasis, they put their suits on, and they're just kind of like, everyone just pairs off, like, well, I guess we're going to be dating. And then everyone's like, I guess we're going to be dating. Or this is like, I guess we're friends, right? Yeah, we're friends. So, well, yeah, it was something. Yeah, right. There's something here. Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. But yeah, those moments where it's just them working as a team, really, the more we got of those, the more I was like, I'm enjoying myself. Because, like I said, I love seeing teams of superheroes just being awesome. The whole bit with them in the woods. Like I said, the lighting I wish was better because it was a little hard to see. But the, Druid using the people to shoot the things, and then Thena's like trying to get her mind together while Gilgamesh is trying to, protect her and all that. That shit was cool. We didn't really get into Cersei. So Cersei's kind of like the main character, played by Gemma Chan. She was also recently in the Captain Marvel movie. She played one of the Kree. She was in blue. She was Kree lady. She had blue skin. So in this one, she's Cersei, and her acting was a little odd. And as I was leaving, a guy was talking about it. He was like, there was something off about her. And the more I thought about it, when he was explaining it, I think in a way, because we find out that they're like robots, essentially, or synthetic.
She's being very stiff.
She's being very stiff, and I think that might be just part of the she hadn't quite broken the programming yet. I don't know. Even though it's been like 10,000 years, because the others seem more natural, but then you got her and Icarus, and they're still both kind of a little stiff. You know what I'm saying? So that could be a reason. Maybe that's an excuse. I don't know. But I liked her. She was good. She was good in the scenes. I liked the whole her being like she's the chosen leader, and the team eventually getting around to be like, yeah, no, you're gonna lead us. You're gonna get us out of this.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually. I mean, like it was the last minute, but they got there. Another thing that was fun, that I always had this problem, I've said it before, with Snyder and his DC shit. This is based off of Jack Kirby, and this is just like Ragnarok. I felt this was far more respectful to Jack Kirby's writing and his designs, more so than any of the Snyder Cut shit.
Oh, okay.
Personally, once again, this felt more like Kirby than anything that DC has done with Kirby's stuff. You know what I'm saying?
How much of Kirby's stuff has DC really used?
Mainly Snyder Cut, really. That's about the main thing. In terms of live action, I mean, I guess Smallville, if you want to go that far back, but which I thought was, even though that was weird, it was still closer in a weird way. Anyway, but like the whole bit with like the Unimind thing, because that's very Kirby. He did that. So the Eternals. Jack Kirby.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Darkseid.
Darkseid. Yeah.
I didn't think about it. I was Apocalypse.
Yeah, Apocalypse.
Well,
yeah,
I'm sitting here. I was like, he didn't make Batman. He didn't make Superman or any of the Justice League. What are you talking about? Oh yeah, all the villains. All the villains.
Yes. So what was that about? Goddamn. So Jack Kirby, the king of comics, he worked with Stan Lee to co-create, quote unquote, Marvel Comics as we know it. And he eventually left. He went to DC, and he made some other characters. But one of the biggest things he did was the New Gods, which was he basically wanted to kill Thor and Asgard and make a new gods. But Marvel was like, we're not doing that. So he went to DC. He did it there, and it's popular. You know, Darkseid, Orion. It's really good. Then he eventually left DC, went back to Marvel. He still wanted to do New Gods, but he couldn't call it that. So he reworked it and called it the Eternals. The Eternals is basically the not as good version of the New Gods. And there's some similarities. And there's the whole thing with the Unimind, which is they're all combined into one, which when they suited up at the end and they had those bracelets, did that make you think of Power Rangers? Because I know it made me think of Power Rangers. I was 100%. Like, this is some Power Rangers shit, and I'm loving this.
Especially when it got down to just 5 of them. I'm like, all right,
yes,
one,
exactly. Yes,
one.
That's what it's black. Yeah, exactly. And then they all get together and they form. Well, in the comics, they essentially form like their own sort of celestial. But in this, it was like they just formed this big energy thing. So they're trying to stop the celestial, which is starting to hatch through the surface of the earth, and they form it. They want to try to use Druid's powers to mind control it, but he's not powerful enough. It has to be Cersei. So she has to use her powers, and she can alter matter. So she like turns the celestial into. It looked like it turned it into marble, but I couldn't tell if it was marble or ice. I couldn't quite tell.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, like once it stopped happening, I was like, oh, she turned into marble. But at the time of it happening, I was like, oh, she's like turning him into stone or just freezing.
Yeah, stone or freezing it, but one or the other. But she
a different material that doesn't move.
That doesn't move, yes. Another solid that it can't turn into. So
yeah, now the core of the earth is solid marble.
I guess. But they saved the day. It was up to her. She had to do the final move. And then, after that, the team kind of splits back up. Icarus maybe kills himself, because ultimately he stops fighting and everyone joins in. And he flies himself into the sun. So I don't know if he's dead or not, but I thought that was...
You don't see it happen.
That's what I'm saying. You don't see it happen. So I thought that was kind of cool. That's a way for him to be gone, but if they need to bring him back, they can. So Cersei, Cersei, Kingo, and Sprite stay on Earth. And like you said, she uses the little bit of energy she has left. She transforms Sprite into a human. But of course... and Phastos. That's right. Phastos stays too with his husband and son. So, what was the thing? So, everyone's starting to go back. She runs back with her boyfriend, Dane Whitman, Kit Harington's character, who, if you don't know, is a Marvel character called the Black Knight. And he's kind of like, hey, I was recently looking into my family history. He's low-key like, hey, just in case you're wondering, guys, I actually am a superhero.
I have a project coming out.
He's like, hey, everyone, I'm a superhero too, but we'll get into that at another time. Basically, that's what he says. So...
so he pulled was it Terrence Howard?
Yeah, next time. But yeah, he said next time, baby. Yeah, basically, that's essentially what he did, yeah. So they're about to leave, and then the fucking red celestial pops back up, and he's like, wait a second, you motherfuckers. Y'all was supposed to let this damn planet explode. Where's my celestial? So he pulls Kingo, Cersei, and Sprite, and he's like...
No, he leaves Sprite. He takes Fastest.
He takes Fastest, right, because she's human now. Yeah. So he takes them, and he's like, hey... I'm the judge. You made a decision, and I'm gonna monitor this planet to see if your judgment was a worthy one. So they are gone, and Dane is kind of like, what the hell just happened? And the other Eternals, Druig, Makari, and Thena, they go off in the ship, and they're gonna fly out to the other Eternals on the different planets and warn them and alert them to what. If they don't know what's going on, basically. So, that's the end of the movie, and then we get the post-credit scenes. What did you thought about the two post-credit scenes? Because I think these are two of the best post-credit scenes we've had in a long time. In a long time.
Yeah, it was like it's been 2 years.
No, not 2 years. I mean, what other post-credit scenes were better than this in a while? Just in terms of just like getting you hyped for what could potentially come down. Well, actually, you know what? The Shang-Chi post-credit scene was really good too. There's two in there, but one of them is really good. The other one is kind of okay. But yeah,
I know. One of them has Captain Marvel. I already know that.
Yes.
But I don't know what she says or the context.
The context of it is pretty awesome, actually. Yeah.
I liked them. I guess I couldn't name off the top of my head one that's better.
Yeah, recently, in terms of recently, this felt more like Avengers 1, where it's like, hey, here's this character that only real deep comic book fans are gonna know, but trust me, it's gonna lead to some crazy shit.
It's gonna be some cool shit.
Yeah, and so they're on the ship, and they're gonna meet some other Eternals. Then someone breaks into the ship, kind of opens up the ship and comes in. And
his power is to teleport.
Is that his power? Is that one of his powers? Okay. So they teleport into the ship, and you hear this voice, and I'm like, is that Patton Oswalt? And you see this...
Is that a voice-modulated Patton Oswalt?
Yeah, exactly. And you see this short, kind of hairy thing talking, and I'm like, wait, is that fucking Pip? Like, I'm literally sitting there like, is that Pip? So Pip the Troll pops up, and he's drinking, and he's doing his thing. He's like, hey... make way for the blah blah blah. He's the greatest prince in the galaxy. The brother of Thanos, Star Fox, and fucking Kit Harington from whatever group he's in. I don't remember.
Kit Harington?
Yeah, not Kit Harington. What's his name? Harry Styles.
Harry Styles from One Direction.
There we go. I don't listen to him. I don't remember that. But anyway.
I don't listen to him either. But
One Direction, Harry Styles pops up, and he's in his red and white and gold. He's playing Star Fox. And this would have been even...
awesome.
He looked good. And it would have been better if some fucking asshole on YouTube hadn't made a video saying, hey, Star Fox is in the movie the day the movie drops. Thanks, Grace.
I've been seeing it for weeks.
I hadn't seen shit until the day of the movie.
That was like a leaked thing that I saw on Instagram, and I was like, that's probably fake.
No, well, see, Star Fox was... yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, but then it happened.
It happened, yeah. So Star Fox was the one Eternal character outside of Thanos that I know, and I was kind of like, why is he not in this movie? But him to come in the post-credit scenes was cool. Star Fox, he's basically like, oh, hey, I guess you guys have broken the program in two. Well, let's team up and, do basically what you guys were already doing, but now here I am type shit. And Star Fox is a weird character, especially in a post-Me Too world. Because if you don't know anything about Star Fox, his name is Eros. And just like Athena and some of the others that are based on different gods, he's basically Cupid. god of love or whatever, and he has this ability where he can make anyone, usually women, but it's 2021, so he's probably going to go both ways now. He can make anyone fall in love with him, and he also likes to fuck. That's his thing.
One of his powers is that he can increase the pleasure of anyone within 25 feet of him.
Yes. And he
oddly
likes
specific.
Yeah, oddly specific, but he also likes to fuck. Like, there's numerous panels from the comics. He was big in like the 80s, late 80s, early 90s when he worked on the team. Him and She-Hulk had a thing. Him and Tigra, I think, had a thing. I know he tried to get with Wasp. I don't know if they ever hooked up. There's him and Monica Rambeau. I know he flirted with her. I don't know if they ever hooked up, but they were on the team. It was him, She-Hulk, Tigra, and what's her name? Photon.
I would love to see Tigra or Tigra, however you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Show up in one of these movies. That'd be awesome.
Might as well. Like, fuck it. Like, that's we're scraping the bottom.
I love the West Coast Avengers.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we're getting Moon Knight. We're getting Moon Knight. Hawkeye's still around. I guess we'll get another Hawkeye. War Machine. Yeah, okay. They could do it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Pretty cool.
That'd be pretty fun now that I think about it. But so that was like, oh shit, he's here. Another thing that now that I think about it was annoying. The explanation for why they didn't get in the end game makes no fucking sense.
Because they were told not to.
No, well, we were told we only get involved when deviants are involved, right?
Thanos is considered a deviant in this universe.
But okay, but comic book wise, he's part deviant. Like, he's an Eternal, but he's got like some disease that makes him part deviant.
Right.
So he's technically a deviant. In the movies, I guess not. But I thought that was fucking ridiculous.
He's not an Eternal.
No, he's an Eternal.
Star Fox aren't even. In the movies, they're not Eternals. They're from the planet Titan. They're natives to the planet Titan.
But they're like offshoots. They're still like Eternals, so they're like maybe if the current Eternals are like version 2.0, they're like version 1, basically.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But then I guess they don't have the programming or whatever.
Whatever. I don't fucking know. But I just thought that was like, wait a second, he is a deviant. So what the fuck? But you know what? It's MCU. They make up their own fucking rules. So that was a fun post-credit scene. And of course, like any Marvel movie, after the first post-credit scene, more people leaves. So the real hardcore fans are still sitting there for the final post-credit scene.
I had a theater of 20 people, and about half of them left before the first one.
Really? God damn.
Yeah. I was like, you've never seen a Marvel movie? Come on,
right.
This is your first one?
This is your first one? Eternals. This is the first one. Okay. So, so we get to the final post-credit scene. We go back to London. Kit Harington is in his office, and he's freaking out. He's got his ancient weapon from his family, because they mentioned early on, his family lineage is medieval times or whatever. So
the Ebony Blade.
Yeah, the Ebony Blade. He opens up the box, and there's a sword. There's a black sword, and he's starting to grab it, and like the sword, it's like a liquid metal, and like part of it is like moving or whatever. It was a cool effect. He's about to pick it up, and then a strong voice pops up and is like, Dr. Whitman, are you sure you want to do that? Or something like that. Basically that thing. And then it stops. And the audience was like, huh. I sat there for like 3 seconds, and I was like, was that Mahershala? I sat there, that sounded like Mahershala. I was like, is that Blade? Because that sounded like Mahershala to me. One dude sitting right in front of me turns back around. He's like, oh yeah, it's Blade. They already confirmed it. I was like, okay, all right, I'm on it. I was like, I'm on it. Let's go. Oh man. So that was cool.
Yeah,
that was cool. They might be going more comic book accurate, because I know a lot of people were, well, not a lot, but certain people upset when it was rumored that John Boyega might be playing Blade, and they were like, oh, Blade's not British, he's American, but Blade is British in the actual comics. So
but Mahershala Ali is not.
He's not. So I was
probably not going to do the accent.
Yeah, he's probably not. But being in London, I was like, maybe he is. I don't know, because he got that kind of fast. But
he's like, I'm not British, but I do hang out in England.
Yeah, I hang out in London. A lot of vampires is in London and shit. So
I am British. What are you talking about? This is my voice.
I'm a daywalker. I sound different. My voice is different. I'm a daywalker. Oh shit! But yeah, that was fun. I'm looking forward to the Blade movie. My biggest problem though is probably not gonna be. Yeah, it's in a movie.
Oh, I thought that was supposed to be a series.
It's been rumored he's gonna pop up in either Moon Knight or some Werewolf by Night shit. That's been like the latest rumor.
Oh, yeah.
Before there's a movie or before the movie happens. My only biggest problem.
They haven't even announced the movie yet.
No,
really.
They announced it. Well, they haven't
like
announced a release date. No, but they announced the director and the writer. Right. They did announce that. But I'm just worried that it's not going to be rated R, which is like, I don't need a non-rated R vampire movie. But it is MCU, so they're going to get my money regardless. You know how that goes.
Right. I feel like they might be willing to go rated R. I think because they're going to have to with Deadpool.
They're going to have to with Deadpool. So do you wait till Deadpool or do you do a test run with
Blade?
With Blade, you know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is, again, they haven't set a release date for Blade yet, so it's entirely possible that the movie for Blade will drop around the same time that Deadpool does anyway, or that phase. So they could just do 2 rated R movies.
It's possible.
Like, basically back to back.
That's possible. I can see that.
I'd be like, this is the MCU after dark.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Well, like I said, they got the Moon Knight, they got the alleged Werewolf by Night shit coming, but, you know, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, everyone
Which is a weird one.
It's a weird one, right? But people like it. I've never read the comic, but it's got a fan base.
I've read it before.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's a werewolf in Marvel. There you go. He's like a good guy / bad guy, depending on the story, right? Yeah.
More or less.
So
he's a good guy if it benefits him.
Okay. Yeah. But so that was Eternals, man. This was one of those times where I was not interested, but it worked, man. It worked for me. Like I said, the less attachment I have to these characters, it was easier for me to view them as just a new superheroes. If you think of it less of an MCU movie, I think it works better, because if you're expecting a lot of, here's an Iron Man reference, here's a Captain America reference, here's a Doctor Strange reference, you're not going to get a lot of that in this. Not a lot of it. Not like a typical Marvel movie where there's a good amount of references every so often. Not like, I'm not talking like comic book. I mean like MCU references. Like, oh hey, there's that building where they ate shawarma, or oh hey, there's Peter Parker's school, or oh hey, there's the Stark building in the background. Like, it's not a lot of that type of shit going on.
Well, I will say that that Celestial was 100% an Avengers level threat. Where the fuck were the remaining Avengers?
That's a good point. That is a very good point. Well, the Eternals got it. It's their movie. They got it. Everybody else is, well, like I said, you didn't see Shang-Chi, so they were probably busy searching something else, maybe. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so...
I guess I'll find out.
Yeah, I guess you'll find out, maybe. Or maybe it happened, the exact moment a certain scene happens in Shang-Chi is exactly when the Eternals, when the Celestial was doing its thing. I don't fucking know. So...
They didn't in this movie say how long it had been since the blip, I think.
They mentioned the blip, but yeah, you're right. But they didn't...
They mentioned the blip, and
they didn't establish.
Mentioned, obviously, the 5-year span that everyone was gone.
Yeah.
But they don't... There's no point in the movie where they tell you how long this is after everyone comes back.
Exactly. In fact, we don't know if it's like Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier time. Is this...
Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man is this Shang-Chi time-ish. So yeah. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, like I said, in a vacuum, I really love this movie. And outside of a vacuum, I still love this fucking movie. And once again, I will say it is the best live-action Justice League movie we've had. Balls in your court, Warner Brothers. You got a chance to do it again. Huh? Say what?
And they'll fund it.
They'll fuck it up somehow, I know, but they already did it twice. But anyway. So yeah, that's Eternals. This was fun talking about this. Crispy, let the people know where they can find you.
Like I said earlier, my house, the grocery store, my place of work. You can also find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at CwispyMan, CwispyMan. All right, underscore MANN. Fuck it up 2 times in a row.
Yeah, there you go. And I'm BrogiNaric. You can find me on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, BrogiNaric, Facebook, and TikTok. I forgot TikTok and TikTok. BrogiNaric, BROGI space NARIC. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. Peace.